It's Sunday, October 23rd, 2022. I'm in this pattern. It's the 20th Sunday after Pentecost for the Holy Eucharist. I was wearing this shirt this morning while I was at the Mass. And in this particular, she actually, when I was in Sunday school today, she mentioned one word, the Father mentioned the other word, a different word. I thought that was really interesting. I shared with the Father what the teacher mentioned or called it, because I had never heard it called that before. I thought that was interesting, and we're all gathered in this one, under one roof. Um, so, um, for signs of God, country, and family, there was I brought my son with me, Anthony, 2012. We were taught about or talked about in unison with some of the others, this parable or story, they call it, of the Pharisees and the tax collector. I'm always so curious by the righteous, which I said, I'm like, the Sunday school teacher and I had this conversation. I said, you're just more confident. I said, I said, I'm just novice, very novice. You come to the conversation. I know I don't know everything. I know I'm looking for answers. I know that I don't have enough confidence or years of experience to teach my own son, which is why I bring him. I was like, but you have this knowledge. I was like, and it's nice to hear the children and their questions and their almost, it's not a round table, but whatever it is as they go through. So I went through that in real life. So church in action, that's where I was today. Also at church in action, it was really humbling experience. The mother of the church, or the mother of this particular roof that we gather under, um, she went on a pilgrimage, or she calls it a sabbatical. I don't really know the vernacular difference, but she came home with pictures. So after the regular time frame of church, she stayed afterwards and was so humble and kind in order to bring us her journey and photos of her journey and a teaching of why, like what she was very good at explaining certain key pieces of things. I firsthand, it was, I mean, I don't have access to universities with large lecture halls and like the integrated agreement of what can be taught and how it's versed and so on and so forth. So the church actually had somebody, which was nice, to teach of her journey, which was really great. Um, and it was a Christian perspective. I think there was a lot of superstition in the history of the convent, or the invent or convent, of their molding of the background of what is celebrated, which I did not know. I did not know the larger context of the area that she visited, wherever that was in her holy pilgrimage. Um, but I thought, like, again, church in action, that is just amazing. Um, to hear her come back. And for me, she has a very, what I would call Claudia Dean way about her. It's just this mannerism and this, I mean, she's one of my personal celebrities, but um, again, she's also who I went to go visit um, when they nicknamed me, or they gave me the call sign Hella back in the whatever day and age of my youth. Um, for whatever reason. Um, so I'm watching now. I went this morning. It was a really nice education directly from somebody who went there, who's church in action, who um who got first-hand knowledge of the superstitious and how they incorporated the words that they use. And it was really nice that she shared it with us. I myself was, of course, hanging on every word, trying to learn new things that I'm so hungry for. Um, but um, again, my son was with me, and he was in a different um, whatever at the moment. I don't know if they understand the seriousness of what goes on around a big city when it's not talked about by any of the locals. It's difficult. So I'm looking to Big Board, and it says here, Big Board. It says Channel 7, and it has New York and this Jaguar reference. And it's an NFL reference for sport. Like, and what I thought was they have a head coach on this New York Giants. Um, they put him up a lot. His name, I think, is Brian, or at least that's the name that they call him, or they call him DeBole, something like that. But the fans are actually wearing the coach's face on their t-shirts. I thought that was really nice. I'm like, they're cheering for somebody other than one of the typical players. They're actually cheering for a coach. That's a really nice sign.
Week 7 of the NFL, the Giants trying to do something they haven't done since 2008. Start the season at 6-1 under Brian Dable, who, by the way, looks to become the first head coach to start his Giants career at 6-1 or better since 1929 on the road facing the Jaguars. Oh, and yet Dable, as you can see, has his own fan club. Not only the players who believe in their head coach, he's got the shirts there, and those Giants fans are so used to fourth quarter comebacks. So
I thought that was really nice. I'm like, I've never seen that before. They put the coaches. That's a nice thank you, I would say. Now, what's interesting is I go back to the Sister Act, since they gave it as a reference here in 1992. Again, I didn't really watch it with an intention ever. I didn't really have a place for it in communications and arts, in making a document for myself, or a reference for myself and where I'm at. But I have now, um, it's the 20th Sunday after Pentecost, and I see some signs that are concerning. So I'm trying to just find myself an anchor and a rock, kind of like an oyster on a break point of really not knowing where to shelter from the storm. I don't know if the storm came and left, if we're in the eye of the storm, and it just seems calm and peaceful, but it's going on all around, I'm not real sure. I saw that the mayor had some security summit in New York City today. Again, nobody like hands out invitations to that kind of stuff. I don't know who he was meeting with, but I'm sure it was the professionals at some level. But again, unbeknownst to me. Um, but I do see this part of Sister Act from 1992, and they speak of Mary Magdalene, and they have the exact same, or they have a doctored up version of this flag. This is just the people's version, I suppose, or the readily available that they actually allow the public to have as like their patriotic acknowledgement that if I have to get a handle on something, this is the handle that I hold.
This Sunday's hymn is inspired by the lesson of Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was a young lady with a past. Oh, yes. And she was.
Now, they have right here. This scene also reminds me very much of when I was in Oyster Bay School, which was the St. Dominic's reference on Long Island. And we had this very important official from the church, and I did not know Catholic things. But that's where I was registered, and that's where the education was coming from in whatever I was allowed to know in whatever, and my home address being a way. I also notice in this movie, they speak of not only a way, they speak of a broad. I've heard abroad being away, and I've heard a broad being a slang term used by the mobsters to reference a woman, a dame. So, again,
Was no stranger to sin. She was no stranger to practically anybody. Many condemned her, the whole neighborhood, in fact. But one man refused to do so. One man said, "Hey now, hold on, wait a minute. Listen to the girl's story."
Hail, girls. Hail, Mary. What's up? Well, Jerusalem's become a real drag. Everybody hates me. Not that guy over there. Who, him? They all say he's different. They say he's really weird. We don't care what people say. To us, he's always there. Really? Nothing you could say could tear me away from my God. My God. Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck like glue to my God. My God. I'm sticking to my God like a stamp to a letter, like birds of a feather. We stick together. I'm telling you from the start, I can't be torn apart from my God. Nothing you could do could make me untrue to my God. My God. Nothing you could buy could make me tell a lie to my God. My God.
I gave my God my word of honor to be faithful.
And I've got a
You best be believing
I won't be deceiving my God. As a matter of opinion, I think he's tops. My opinion is he's the cream of the crop. As a matter of taste, to be exact,
he's my ideal.
as a matter of fact, no muscle-bound man could take my hand from my God. My God. No handsome face could ever take the place of my God. He may not be a away from my God.
Give him some of that deep shoulder action.
There's not a man today who could take me away from my God.
Now, I just think that that's really interesting, especially considering this 20th Sunday after Pentecost is also the same day that the mayor is having a security summit at Gracie Mansion, for which they mention very little, just that it was held and it will be continued because it's an ongoing effort. With whatever's going on in the city, with the crime and so on and so forth. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.